So here we are again. Hope everything works all right now. So, yeah, I set this restreaming up a little while ago. Actually, experiencing some network stuff again. So I'm not really sure what's going on. I hope my connection will work all right tonight, because usually it's pretty fast and I don't have any problems. I didn't switch anything bigger except then just activating Restream. But obviously there seems to be a little problem going on. So I hope everything works okay right now. And okay, let me start again. So today I want to introduce you to Divisimate, which is a very cool tool. I will explain this in a minute, and I'm not really sure if Steffen, one of the developers, is here, because he said that he probably makes it to the stream tonight. So Steffen, if you're here, and in case I missed it, just let me know if you're here. And yeah, so let's hop right into it. What is Divisimate? So basically it's pretty simple, to be honest, pretty simple to explain, but the tool can be pretty powerful and very complex. And let's start very simple. We all probably know this problem that when you have a template, oh, you have several buffering issues. I hope they disappear. I really hope they do, because otherwise I probably want to, just restart everything here and restart my connection. So just let me know if this works out, and otherwise I have to delay it for another hour or something. So let me just try to get as far as possible. Actually, let me just leave on my laptop here to see if it works out all right, so I can check it myself. Yeah, I mean, it could be probably also my connection here, but I mean, yeah, who knows? I thought it was connected to Restream, but it also could be my connection, my internet connection in general. Okay, so let's switch back to the live scene here. Yeah, thanks for checking in, Andrew. And okay, so the audio is pretty late here. Well, we just see how it goes today. That's the beauty again of doing it live, All kinds of stuff could happen. So, okay, let me just try it and hope it works out all right. Good evening, Adam. So, okay, so I just want to quickly explain Divisimate and what this is. So we all know the problem, just to make it short, when you probably have your template, or you're starting out with working on a track and you don't know how or what you want to do. You just load up let's say your sustain ensemble string patch in general. And then you try to come up with some idea, but maybe you want to, already split out all the separate voices to the appropriate instruments. So this can become a problem when you just want to come up with some idea and you're playing a melody, or to make it easy, to explain it easier, when you have woodwinds. And let's say you play a C major 7 chord, which is basically just 4 notes. And let's just stick with 2 fingers on each hand, and I'm playing a C major 7 chord, and you have, for example, you want to record that to the flutes, to the oboes, to the clarinet, to the bassoon, and you record these 4 voices. So what technically happens is that you record 4 voices to the flutes, 4 voices to the oboe, and so on. But you want to split this out. And to explain this very easily, let me just go over this neat little tool here, and we just stick to the orchestrate tab here for a moment. You also have a perform one. We get to that later. And one thing I want to mention right away, there is a bypass button, which can be pretty helpful, just in case if you want to do some tweaks directly with your keyboard plugged into your DAW, for example, Cubase, as you're used to. You can quickly bypass this entire plugin and you can work as you want, because usually this is the case. You probably know this when you use some app which is which you have to use outside of Cubase or your digital audio workstation of choice, that you have some problems with a MIDI, with your MIDI keyboard. So I found that I have to launch Divisimate before I launch Cubase, because otherwise in the settings your keyboard won't appear here. But it could have been just me while setting this up. So let's start. Let's get this explained pretty simple. So let's stick with the easy example of, hey Clay, how are you? So just in case, it works okay, just let me know. I still see that I have some frame drops, so maybe we will see how it goes. And let me just do the following. So we have these 4 voices within a C major 7 chord. So what I want to do now is that I want to split these 4 notes I have here to different ports. And whatever these ports will be, we will talk about that in a second. So right now, when we have the C major 7 chord, I would, on the keyboard, I hope you can see that all right, that I would have the C, the E, the G, and the B. And the B would be on the highest note, and the C on the lowest, just for this example. So what I want to do is, when I have now 4 voices active, I want to send the first note to port 1. Whatever this port will be, we will talk about this in a second. And the second note, which would be the G, to the second port. And the third note, which would be the G, to the third port. And the lowest note is the C to port number 4. So I want to set up this entire thing as if you would start when you got Divisimate. So I just load up 4 instances of Contact. 4 instances of Contact 5. Let me close these windows. So I'm going to the first one, and now let's do this with strings. Let's just load up Cinematic Studio strings here, and let's load the first violins, just the legato patch. And then what I'm doing is by holding the Alt key and left click, I deactivate all these, so that I have just... So as you can hear, I have some dropouts in the notes. That is happening because I didn't bypass Divisimate. So I can play these all right now. But what I want to do is that I name these properly. Violin 1, let's do it like this. Violin 2. Let's make this the viola, and we have the cello. Okay, so let's set up these individually, and way better than before. So hopefully it was just a hiccup in the connection. And man, you really think that DSL 500 Mbit would be okay? Sorry, cable 500 Mbit should be okay, but obviously it doesn't. So I would also be happy if I find out how Contact would remember the spot I am, so I don't have to all the time scroll down through the browser window. But I mean, ideally you just set this up once if you work with a template. Okay, and then we load the cellos. Okay, deactivate these. No, it's not like a VST. It's a standalone app. It just works before, let's say, like as a how do you say, like if it would be a guitar amp, it would be like an effect sitting before the preamp. Okay, so this is an app which is a standalone app, and it sits outside because the reason is, and you can see that in a minute. So as I said again, let's take out the bypass. So I have this port 1, port 2, port 3, port 4. What I'm doing right now is the first, when you install Divisimate and fire up Cubase, you should see on the inputs, you see all these Divisimate ports here. So this is not there to confuse you. This is there, and I'm really doing myself a bit, I have a hard time finding the right. I'm usually pretty good at reading small things, but but it's really terrible with this font. I don't know. So let's find number 1. And you are here. Then we set up the second port to, I'm actually not sure. Well, this is messed up like this. It should be like in the order. So we load up, where is number 3? Here. And this is already port 4. Okay, so what happens right now if I set these all to recording and I play a C major 7, I just do it with one hand. Just a simple melody, and let's record this. So I'm setting this all to record, and just record something. I mean, as I said before, I'm not the best keyboard player, but I'm just doing my best to. Okay, so we just got this neat little whatever, something I just played. And as you can see now from what I have available right now, is that all of these notes, I can, just select them all and just fire them up and see that this is basically what I played. But when I visit these individually, you can see that all of these notes have been split up to these instances here, this contact instance. And this can be pretty, now you have to do, oh, Stefan is there, hey. Yeah, right. Hey, Stefan, great to see you. Glad you made it. And we experienced some minor hiccups here in the Twitch stream. So I'm not really sure what's going on. So I may have to, cancel this and start it again. So I hope the latency and everything is not that hardcore. Yeah, I really recommend you. Let's just visit the website here. Just looking for the issues of a restream. So I really recommend you guys go over to the Nextmidi YouTube channel. So you have all kinds of videos and tutorials. And there are some really complex things, actually. There's a template walkthrough, teaser A, strings. You have to watch this because actually I'm not really sure who did the video or who set this template up, but it also uses something I have never used before, which is setting up MIDI notes and sending MIDI information to several, contact instances. So I've never used that before because I mostly work with instrument tracks. But we can also do something really nice with just using the instrument tracks. And also just check over to the Divisimate website. You have a really well sorted out website. Everything is explained pretty well. And this is the price. This is $199. So maybe again, if you have this, it's $199, just think about just for a second what you can do with it and how it makes your life easier, especially when you are a trained keyboard player, a pianist or whatever, and you just want to come up and play right away an orchestral track, and you can just route all these things through Divisimate and have it automatically split up all these instruments. This is pretty cool and definitely worth its money. So let's just fool around a little bit further with this thing here. I hope the dropouts really are not that hardcore anymore. So what we also could do is that you have this split up here, and you could of course set up, now you can do some kind of the math what you can also come up with. So because you can set up another voices, you can set up the first voice, let's say, to port number 5 and do like a split here, and you can set up the second to here and the third to here, and then let's work with this for a second. So what I was doing basically is providing these 4 voices to other ports here, which would be port number 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I could, yes. So basically, right, you don't even need your feet. That's the cool thing, Clay. You can just have both hands. So ideally, if you're a trained pianist, you're pretty easy by playing 3 voices with each hand, 3, 4 voices maybe with each hand. And you can come up with some pretty complex stuff. So what I want to do now is setting up 4 more instances, and I just would love to load, let's take the Berlin woodwinds. Let's take flute legato 1 to this one. Was it this one? Yeah. So let's rename that Berlin woodwinds flute 1. And let's load the oboe 1. So I have to bypass again. You're doing streams in German. Yeah, I thought about this, but and to be honest, I'm not really sure. It would be pretty messed up when building the community, and then suddenly you have like all these language changes. So that's why I usually stick with just English tutorials. But I mean, I definitely think about this. So thanks for bringing this to my attention again. So let's load up. Let's name it just something. I don't know. Technically, it's not right when you look through the sheet. And let's load the bassoon 1. So I hope I got this, or I understood this right. It's like this. Let me just read. Okay, cool. So you got the shortcut. It's B, bypassing. That's cool. So let's just rename these, because maybe we want to make this a little bit more complicated. But this is really, this is hardcore. I mean, hardcore in the sense of being amazing, because once you really got the hang out of this, you basically can build an entire template, the entire orchestra. As I think Clay already mentioned in the chat, that you can set up an entire orchestra and just play it with your I remember that Vangelis video where he was sitting and like painting these cryptic things, and then he was just playing with his with both hands, and you heard like a full orchestra. So basically you can do the same. You can be like Vangelis. Okay, so let's load the flute. I'll name this flute, oboe, clarinet What is the clarinet? CLN something? I don't know. BSN. So what happens now if I go over and okay, and do all these things, and something should happen. Well, it's probably a little bit unbalanced, so let me just pull over the volume because the woodwinds are pretty loud. Sorry. Especially the... Get some hanging note. That's probably... Did I set this up all right? So... The flute is still very loud. Just try to balance this a little bit more. So you probably have to also set up, you know, like buses and everything, and we just try to do it all with one hand so I can still use the mod wheel here, over here. Okay, so it seems like the frame drops are okay. Hopefully. So let me just, you know, so when I'm just hitting right now the record button, let's just come up with something. Okay, again, just coming up with something. But now you can see that you still have the same 4 notes being applied. But everything is nicely... Oops, something happened here. I think I messed something up. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I know. I know. This should be port 5. I forgot to set this up. Port 5. Port 6. Find port 7 and port 8. Where are you? Here. Okay, so let's check that again. It should be all right now. As you can see, I'm pretty new to this, so I just have to check this again because that was probably... I'm just reading the chat. Yeah, so just in case you already mentioned something, okay, let's turn down the flute a little bit. Okay, that makes more sense. That sounds way better right now. Why did I turn down the jelly? So as I said, you know, you probably have to go through your template and do all the balancing of the volume, so that could be a little bit messed up right now. So let's just come up with something and just record this. Okay, pretty difficult for me. You know, what would be really interesting is I'm trying to get a MIDI guitar soon because I'm a guitarist, and if I could just play, you know, 4 voiced chords with a guitar, this would be pretty awesome. When you just can come up and play the stuff right into split up violin, 1, 2, viola, and so on. So now everything should work. Everything should look all right. As you can see, there are also little fragments going on here, little relics. And I was talking to Steffen quite a while ago, and he said that this can be fixed by I still have to fool around with it with the analysis time of the plugin. So I'm not really sure what's happening, that I have to put it like faster, slower. Man, this thing is so deep. You can do so much stuff with it. I hope I can go over a little bit more of the complex stuff later on. Yeah. So, Steffen, you probably you know, clean up the mess, clean up the mess I'm producing here right now, and but yeah. So, what did I want to do right now? So yeah, let's just record another take and do something here. Whatever, just come up with something. I don't know. Okay, so I still see some fragments, so maybe I have to put it higher. Let's give it another try. Maybe just it takes my hand. Hand of Alex, please stay away from the keyboard because you mess up everything. Okay, so it seems like I improved a little bit, or it seems like the fragments. So basically, like the app had more time to analyze my amateurish playing, just makes the best out of it. Right. Okay. So I think. Oh, it's in milliseconds. Okay, that's good to know. I can live with that. So basically, it's better to just bring it more up. And I assume the higher you set the volume, the time, the milliseconds, it will sort out all these little fragments better. So I think it's better to just move it up. And of course, this can introduce some latency, as I assume. So when you have like staccato stuff going on, becomes a little bit difficult probably. So what can we do? We can come up with something more experimental, because as far as I can explore so far, you can set up a melody layer right here. And what happens now is that you split the keyboard. Let's just. So everything from the high, as you can hear, nothing happens when I play above here. So let's assume the following, that I have just a violin 1, 2. So the entire setup I'm using right here, I want to have this as a company, just you know, just to have some nice chords. So we can set up a melody layer. And what's happening right here? So you could say melody, and this is triggering port 9. Let's just try. Let's just fool around with it. I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to have this melody triggered by, I want to hit, let me just set it up. So basically what I'm trying to do is have, yes, so let's do it like this. Let's put in a solo violin here. Let's make this. And I want to use, I mean, just for the sake of this, let's load up a French horn on this. So maybe not, just for the video. So I'm setting up a new instrument here, or better so, and I set this to port 9 right away. Where's 9? Here. And then 10 to this. So let's load. What do we load? Let's load the Studio Solo strings here. Right. Violin 1. Okay, just have to bypass again. Or let's do something different. Let's load. Yes, I know. Let's load up Contact 6 instance, and let's load up. Why not? Let's mix Nucleus in here and have the solo violin. And now I'm also loading yeah, putting the heavy metal guitar on the melody. That should do it. Okay, solo violin, and let's put the solo French horn. Why not? It's really nice sounding. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is, so the problem right now would be that if I, and I hope I got this right, if I play up here, that obviously, no, I just have to set this to record too. That you don't hear the solo horn because it's an octave below. So what I can do right now is, and this is where the fun stuff starts, adding a transposer, and I just move it an octave down. But still nothing happening. Let me just open this, and oh, I just have to maybe use it. Let's just put it another octave down. So now we should. This sounds a little bit funny, so let's put a transposer in here too for the solo violin. Let's put this one octave down. So just to make up, just come up with something. So it's probably not. So I should probably maybe replace the solo horn here and I could either put a trumpet instead of the solo violin, or we just use, let's pick the solo flute. But we have to take care of that we switch. Oh, set this both to solo. So now so the question, it's kind of MIDI routing, not easy to set up in Cubase already with a MIDI modifier. To be honest, I don't know. I never checked out the MIDI modifier, but this would be probably just, that you can limit a specific range of an instrument. So let's say everything from C5 to C6 goes through this channel or whatever. I'm not really sure. I never fooled around with this, but I doubt that you can split up the entire chord. But I'm not sure. So let's just, when I select all this, I should be able to play now chords down here. So, and when I record this right now, let's maybe rename this solo violin, and solo flute. Do you guys still experience dropouts? But I think it should be fairly okay right now. I'm still getting some Streamlabs warnings, but it just records something. And you could re-record it in the second run. So we recorded all this. So as I said before, we have some trained piano players here, so you could come up with some really cool stuff. But I think you get the idea of what is happening so far. And Shale, thanks for dropping in. So the name of this, it's not a plugin actually. It's a standalone application. It's called Divisimate. And yes, it's called Divisimate. I was just trying to think what I'm doing next. And yeah, as I said before, I'm not really sure if you can do something with MIDI modifier and stuff like this. So maybe with some more complicated scripting. But to be honest, I would always prefer something like this, something like Divisimate, instead of fooling around with something, because I'm pretty sure, and this is the next point, but this would be too complex for now. But I just want to, let's just save it for a second here, this session. When I check up the Perform tab, this is when it becomes interesting. So unfortunately, I'm not having a tab right now here, a pad, I mean. Sorry. Because you could have this layout on an iPad. So, and when you have these, or let's put it like this, in these empty fields, you could set up your configuration. And let's say, as it's written here, 1 voice, 4 parts. So I just probably have to, if I can just, save it for now, just if it would be create, or if I can just override it. But I mean, what the heck? It wasn't that complicated to set up, so maybe we can do this again. But I should be able to record this, to just override it. Or maybe, I'm not really sure if it's just saved when I just leave it and come back to it. I'm not really sure right now. But anyway, you could set up several performance methods. So you could have the full orchestra, you could have, whatever you set up here in the orchestrate pattern, and you just come up with what kind of complexity, or create. So I have to create this here. So I'm doing this, create new preset. So it saves as an XML file. So I just make it like stream test. And then I save it. Right. Oh, it even renames. Oh, that's cool. That's beautiful. So you see everything what is going on here. So I could now switch, probably go, I just, pick something here. And when you go back to the orchestration tab, you see that this changes. So I hopefully see that right. So you see, I hopefully analyze that right. So you have like 3 voices, and you have 1 melody layer. And what's happening here is that this first voice goes to the 4th, the second voice goes to the 3rd, and the 3rd goes to the 5th, and then you have transpose stuff going on. So and then you also for, I'm guessing here, -12 and -24, right? So you have the melody layer above here, and you can also switch that by just moving this around. I just figured that. So just to show you, so you could set up your own performance, though this could be pretty helpful if you are brave enough when you're playing live, and you're just performing live, and you simply want to have a full orchestra at your hand. You're just performing live, and you can switch between several sounds. That you have like the lead sound, just to put it like in band terms, you have the lead sound. Let's go back to what we did here. So it perfectly went back to this. So let's say we have this thing set up here. And then you simply want to switch to, let's say, strings, brass, woodwinds, and the lead instruments is horn and a trumpet up an octave. So you can do all these things too. And you could also set up whatever instrument you have, choirs. You can set up the full stuff. So I'm just trying to think what I could also show. I really have to say, you probably go to the, let me just open the page again, the Divisimate page. So you get, as I said before, here on the YouTube channel, you have a lot of tutorials, how to set up everything. There's also already an update available. So they explain everything, the humanization, the trigger, melody ranges and stuff like this. We didn't talk about this, that you could also go in and say voice is low, that you can, it works basically like the same as the melody layer, but like a bass layer below. And you can set this layer, let's say, to 11, and we could also be a little bit brave. And this is what I also missed when I some instruments, I think it's the cinematic strings. And when you want to layer this with other contrabass instruments, they are always like an octave apart. And then of course, you can set up, in the internal track in Cubase to an octave up or an octave down, but that introduces other problems. And so this is pretty cool to have. And it doesn't matter if you just want to control it for each of your sections. So you maybe want to record strings in all details. You can set up solo strings. You could set up, always keep in mind that you can open up here and you add the solo strings to this same contact instance and route it to the same MIDI channel. So you trigger both the solo strings and the ensemble strings right in that contact instance. And as I said, on the, I think it was this tutorial, there is a MIDI track which is routing the MIDI events to several VST racks, as far as I know, and splits up again between multi-timbral instances. But to be honest, just check it out on that website, because it explains, or the video here on the Nextmidi YouTube channel, because it explains it way better than I could ever do right now and live. But what I want to do is come up here with a voices, using the low voices and loading contrabass and maybe a cello on top. No, we just have to go here. So let me just open another 2 instances. Let's say VCL and double bass. Let's load for a second. Let's go over to the, why not? Let's load the Berlin strings. Not the cello legato. Just do bypass for a second. Okay, and then the basses. So now I want to have the double bass an octave below. To not get confused. I just say transpose, and then I'm just going down an octave here. Should still doing something wrong? Yes. This is becoming typical for me, that I just forget to just provide these. So 12, where are you? Here you are. So still doing something wrong. Hey Dirk, how are you? Take Xenos. What is happening? A lot of people. Do you still experience some dropouts here? Or some lag? I'm just trying to desperately... Oh man, yeah, right. I think I just know what is going on. Right, I am... Okay. I know what I did wrong. I just have to... I just went the wrong way. I may have just... All right. Oh, it's correct. Let's just, raise this a little bit. I mean, this is really cool because usually the way I work is that you open up your template and you just come up with a sustain patch, ensemble patch, whatever, and then you just try to sketch, and then you start fiddling around and do the harmonies right and tweak little stuff, and then you start out and copy that entire ensemble to the first violins, to the second violins, or just copy it over, and then you delete everything except violin 1, and then you move down and do the same. And I mean, it's pretty cool that you have it all. So I'm probably not able to play this all at once. No. Just want to go over here. Don't close it. So we could just, and I think we can just, I think we could also play, bass and and then let's just, whatever. Of course, you have to set up the volume again. Oops, something going wrong. Why did this go to the clarinet and the... Maybe I think I just hit the wrong octave. Let me just check this again. Yeah, I'm sorry. My keyboard is too small. I mean, just try to come up with something. Yeah, just... And then, yes, right. So it's just a little bit technically, of course, this layer. I should rename that a little bit better, but I think you can, make it out what is going on here. So that this probably would be my melody layer. So this should be on top. So it's a little bit. Let's do it. Should be a little bit confusing that this is, below the bass. And now I could just, go in here and just. Oh, I don't even remember what I played here. I just... Oh my god. So... So good. Could be worse, Yeah, but that's pretty cool. Actually, I was, thinking about when that's cool that you have all these things, but how do you deal with it when you have complex orchestra going on, a complex template, but you just want to record parts of it? Well, it works, as, if you would record an entire section or everything at once. So as you can see, let me just check this. So this is perfectly split out. On all these parts here. This is really cool. I really love it. And you have the melody layer on top and the bass below. So basically you have, you could also play, if you have if you're good with your elbow or your feet, you could just play it all at once, but you probably, you probably play the bass layer and the chords above and then the melody on top. Okay. Yes, the stream in YouTube is not running because I think the problems were because of I activated Restream. So it could be that I just have some, something going on in OBS, which is messing up because I still get dropped frames. So I just had to stop the YouTube streaming. And I have to test around with it. I thought this works 100% because it worked before. So I just started streaming, but obviously it seems like something must be wrong with my internet connection here or something which I messed up. And I just want to, investigate this a little bit further. So, yes, the thing is, let's clean that up. I always have to clean up parts. I don't know. Please help me. So the thing is, this beast can really go way more complex. So you can set up, basically you have like 32, please, just Steffen, if you have something you want to mention, of course, probably, you developed this thing, or are a part of the team, you probably come up with, gazillions of features and stuff you want to talk about. But but all in all, you have like 32 ports you can assign all these voices to. So think about what complex stuff you can come up with, how you route your strings, how you route the woodwinds and your entire brass section or whatever. So we could still go on and say, okay, all of these go to 13, 14, 15, 16, and we set up trumpets, French horns, trombones, and chimbasi, tubas, and whatever. So you could build your entire orchestra and be playable with just two hands, so you don't have to go through all these settings and splittings and like recording each part individually. Of course, if you want to later on go in and want to change the arrangement of a flute or whatever you want to do. But let me just read the chat for a second. Okay, I will have to try that. Yeah, I'm just using Streamlabs, by the way, so it works a little bit different than the OBS itself, and also I feel like the quality is a little bit worse, but they got so cool, try to switch around. They have so much cool templates, and it looks like a little bit as if I would play some games, as if I would be a streamer and a gamer. Yes, right. That's what I forgot to say. So, of course, you can, when you play like, chords like this, that you could still go on and that you can say, of course, when you have, for example, this the C major 7 again, that you can say that the second that you could go in here as far as I got it. that you say that the, let's say, where I am right now, that I say that, for example, the third would be on top, which would be number 3. So you could set up a transposer and set it up an octave. Is that hopefully right, Steffen? And yeah, so basically you can, of course, do open voicings so that it's not like the typical keyboard chords, because usually when you have like strings, you want to play, for example, root octave above the 5th, and then again the 3rd on top. So you have like a real open voicing. And yeah, so you that's kind of the stuff. Yeah, I sort of, but that's usually the stuff you need, or the time you need when you have like your typical template, and then you sit there and start, arranging all these things and editing these things later on. You could do this all within Divisimate. And also what I wanted to say is that you can also come up with, I'm not finding it right now, but there is a tab somewhere where you can humanize stuff, but I don't remember. Maybe there's something. Sorry, yeah, humanization. Jingle the boof. Okay, so you could set up the timings differently. The velocity could vary a little bit. You could also come up and set up, and this is going to be really complex, but I'm really sure that you understand it way better when you check the Divisimate website, that you could not just set transpose, you could also set repeaters. So it would repeat chords, repeat quarter notes or eighth notes, or set even up triggers. So you can have key switches going on within that setup. But as I noticed before, there are tutorials for basically everything you want to know on Divisimate. So yes, right, it's on the setting page. It's like I was just looking for a specific humanization, but it's the whole tab is called humanization. So you have all these options like changing velocity, note timing, the CC timing, CC value, and all these things. And also it seems like all these, when I just played this right here, there are no more segments or relics, maybe just a little bit like here. But I mean, you could still, get like a shortcut and saying like delete short notes of this length and just get rid of these instantly, or raise the time. Yeah. So, but as I said before, you can get all this information on their beautiful website here. You can see all the features. Let's just hop into that for a second here. They explain everything, how it works, the Divisi engine, how to orchestrate the modification. Let's just check the About Us, get some information on the team. Let's check the team for a second. So this is Steffen, Peter, and Benedict. Yes, so I think it's, even if you may think, well, in second, so in euros, it's probably with tax already, it's like 222. But I mean, depending on, this is the way I see it when you work with your template. And even if it's just, something like doing open voicings, for instance, it's like time, even if it's just a few seconds to put this, the third an octave above or something. This is all just maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 seconds it needs. But add this up, how many times do you do that during the week? How many times do you do that during the month or the year? So this is all time you could just free up, and by just paying like these $200 roughly. But then you have the pleasure to work to work way more efficient. It's the same with, I think, when you have a template at all. So by every time open a blank page, blank template, and just going in here and saying, okay, like you open the content, and then you say, oh, what strings do I use, or maybe this and that. So it helps a lot to have that template. And this is just, the Divisimate is bringing just one step further to be like that little assistant within your template to make it way more easy to play stuff. So, I mean, I could, just sit down and explore further and do another video on this. But I think for now, we always talked about right over like almost 1.5 hours about this. And I think I would call it a day for now. And I hope you get a good impression on this. And I'm really sorry for the lag and the dropouts. I'm really looking forward to fix this. And switch screens. What do you mean by switching screens? Switch screens? Oh my god! Seriously, I just had like 2 hours of sleep that night. Was a little bit messed up. My daughter got sick, so this is how you sound when you just sleep 2 hours. But then again, don't compare it to any other video of me, because you would figure out that he always sounds like as if he just slept like 2 hours. Yes, so I will just try to get rid of these drops, of these frame drops. I hope the video thanks, but I hope the video is turning out all right and okay. It probably must be something within my router too, so I will have to restart that. And okay, so if you got any questions, I mean, even if I end the stream, the chat is still active, so you could maybe ask a few questions to Steffen. And also, I mean, even if he has to go, do not hesitate, contact these guys. They don't bite. They are all pretty nice and kind and answer you all these questions. But I think there won't be many questions because, as I said before, just head over to the YouTube channel of Nextmidi. Make sure to subscribe to these guys and give them a few likes on the videos and comments to boost their channel a little bit, and so more composers are will notify that brilliant application. And okay, so I think I would call it a day for now. Just in case if you don't have any questions right now, I would just call it a day. Yeah, thanks for dropping the website. Yeah, so I would say see you soon. I will most likely be online tomorrow, but I don't want to promise anything. I will let you guys know. But the next time, that can I promise, the next time I'm going online, I will have a little giveaway ready again, as it happened many times in 2019. And I also want to continue that in 2020. So there will be a giveaway soon happening for a new library. But I'm not telling more, so just in case, I won't make it tomorrow, on some other day. So make sure to stay tuned. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. And I would say see you next time, and good night. Have a good day wherever you are, and see you soon. Bye.